the best feedback I got from podcasts, and I think this is so cool when you can, for whoever you are listening, and if you want to start your podcast, if you can listen to your audience and get feedback on what is it that they're struggling with, what is it that they're dealing with, what is it, where are they right now, and then address that on your podcast. The coolest feedback I was getting and I am getting is when people say, it feels like you're in my head. You're talking directly to me.
Amazing. Welcome to the Online Creator Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Tradewell, founder of May and James Co., a creative digital company. Building a brand is about human connection. I am here to help you articulate your story through strategy, development, and execution. I believe that anything is possible at any age and at any stage of business. The only limits we have are the ones that we place on ourselves. I want you to feel like you are supported, not alone, and that you are able to take action quickly. On this podcast, expect to hear interviews from a wide range of guest speakers, bite-sized solo episodes from myself, bingeable episodes that will give you insights, different perspectives, and actionable strategies to help you reach your goals personally and professionally. Now let's get into the show. Monika is a life performance coach whose experience includes competing in bodybuilding competitions, extensive personal development with landmarks worldwide, and working with the best mindset coaches over the past 12 years. She left Poland and moved to the US at the age of 21, never planning to work in the fitness industry. Her background is in journalism and psychology. She works with her clients to achieve incredible physical results and the mindset to develop and practice your elevated life performance. It's always so much fun connecting and chatting with Monika. Let's welcome her to the show. Hi, Monika. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. I have been so looking forward to this because the energy that you bring every time I connect and talk with you is really infectious. And I think others need to hear you, to see you, and to know more about you. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
This is so great.
And I wanted to plan to be here before my travels, before anything, because I'm like, I want to hear this as soon as possible. We've been planning
That's so
this.
great. That's so great. So thank you. I appreciate you taking the time because I know you're super busy. We're just going to start off the conversation with how do you leverage your voice to better your business and life? Maybe a little bit of where you started that journey and where it is now today.
This is a big question because when I thought about it earlier before we got on here, I thought about so many different things, from the fact that I'm an immigrant and English is not my first language. So even just like the immigrant language struggles, that's number one. Just being able to find your voice in a new language, that was a huge deal. When I moved to the United States at 21, I've always been someone who's in communication with people, love to be around people, love to talk to people. And it was so, I don't even know the word, but it was like a jail for me when I moved and I couldn't communicate. I was like in my shell and so hungry to connect with people, but I couldn't because I didn't have the language skills. And then moving on through, studying in college and learning all the vocabulary and everything, and then becoming a trainer and a coach, and then still having such insecurities about my language skills because I worked in a very well-educated and very sophisticated part of Boston, Massachusetts in the United States. And so, people from all over the world, but highly educated. And I was like, oh, who am I to speak to them? Who am I?
Point.
And so being really, really afraid to speak to people just in general, because I didn't want to come across as someone who was uneducated or someone who couldn't even, I had a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, but can I communicate this clearly and such that people can understand me and don't see me as, half-brained because it's not perfect English. That's that. So then it took me a while and a lot of personal development to get to where I am today. And that is being authentically myself and openly myself and not seeing anything as a limiting factor. So what, that my English is not perfect. I have many clients from all over the world who also, this is not their first language. And so I really, really, really believe in just being authentically you, because whoever will connect with you and whoever will resonate with you, they will find a reason to find you relatable. I just got off a call with a client who I mentor in her fitness business, and and we were talking about, how there's an abundance of people. And so me teaching her how to create her business doesn't take away from my business and my clients, because the people who will resonate with me because of my voice. And
Right.
the people who resonate and my story, and the people who resonate with her because of her voice and her story. And so I think that the best solution and the best policy to it is just to be authentically yourself, because whoever you are and however you are, there will be people who will resonate with you.
I love that so, so much. That's so powerful and such a good message. And I think it's amazing who we can touch and reach in this online space because, like you said, we are not all from the same place, and that's okay. We can still communicate with each other. We just have to figure out a way to communicate in the best way that we know how. So I think that's really powerful. So you have recently started your podcast, the Monica Mazur podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about how that is working and looking in your business and what you like about it and what you don't like about it?
I love podcasting. It's the best thing ever, because I really see the benefit of learning as we listen and not
Mhm.
necessarily sit and scroll. So podcasting and audiobooks have always been my favorite thing ever. I grew up in the 80s and 90s in Poland, so I grew up listening to a radio. I didn't grow up scrolling social media. And so I have dogs, I take them on walks, and I always utilize my time, listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks. And so it was just a natural progression in my business. And I wanted to start my podcast. I wish I found someone like yourselves earlier. I wanted to start my podcast for a long time, but just didn't know how to get to it. And finally, when I did, it's been such a great way to do two things, really. One is add additional coaching to the current clients who work with me in whatever capacity, whether
Yes.
people who I work with closely one on one, who I mentor one on one very, very closely, or people who are in one of my memberships. It's such a powerful tool to add additional coaching. And on the other hand, it is a funnel. It is a slow, but it is a funnel to funnel people into your programs, because they get to know you, they get to resonate with you. I've had a girl just recently, I call everyone a girl. And, I'm a 40-year-old girl, not yet,
Right.
almost. I had a girl just sign up recently, and she said to me, I followed you on social media for a long time. And she was very much said, no, I don't want to work with you a while ago. And she goes, I started listening to your podcast and I realized, oh, she's so well rounded. She's not just about eat this, do this for exercise. It's so much more that you were about. And I learned it from your podcast, not from your social media content, not from reels, not from videos, not from what you talk about, but actually from your podcast when I got to listen to you. And so I did not anticipate that it will be such a valuable and versatile tool, because in between current clients were like, whoa, you're like in my head, to the people who are introduced to me through the podcast. It's been awesome. And I love this delivery form, because the thing is that you don't have to get ready. I
Yes.
originally literally would sit down in my closet and talk
Yeah.
about whatever was on my mind. And, you know, as women, I mean, at least myself, I have this thing that, if I'm going to be doing reels or lines, my hair has to be done and I have to have some sort of
Absolutely.
makeup on. And podcast, we can just be in our pajamas and no big deal. And we have valuable conversations. And I also think it's not distracting to people. When they listen,
Yeah.
they can just listen and they don't have to
Yeah.
see it. They can see with their own eyes of their imagination. So
There's so much good stuff in there, and I think, just, touching on that last piece, I think we almost come across, or I feel like we come across as more authentically who we are when we are comfortable in where we're at. Like, I know when I get home from work, the first thing I do is, like, jump into my leggings or joggers or whatever that's really comfortable and, put on that sports bra, and then I'm like, "Okay, I can breathe now," and I feel like sometimes that really does resonate and come across through audio because we're just chilling, we're who we are, and that meets people where they're at because they can feel that almost, right? And another thing that you said that is so true. I grew up in a household too where there was always audio on, forever country station at my house. So I had to like recover from that for many years, but That was just who my dad was, and he always wanted audio on. It made him feel good, and I continued that through my life, just like you said. It's funny because it's just a natural progression for me to everybody's busy but I'm a forever multitasker and
Yes.
activity is always going to be a part of my life. So how do I listen to something that I want to capture while I'm doing it or an audiobook while me and my hubby are traveling somewhere? It's just constantly
Yeah.
like we'll throw it in. Oh, can I just catch? And he's like, I don't care. That's awesome. And so we're actually learning and listening together, which is so amazing. It really does meet your people where they're at and meets their needs. It's just so much more accessible. And you're coaching clients. I think what a cool way to be able to let them know that it's like a personal touch point that you're giving them this one on one attention, even though you don't necessarily have to be there in that moment. You're still really giving them personal care, a personal touch point, but not having to physically be there because we can't be there for everyone all the time in the moment, but we
Right.
sure can let them know like what they need to hear when it works for them and works for you. So I think that's amazing.
One thing I wanted to share here is that at the beginning, I literally would have a conversation with a client who's like, but I'm struggling with time management. No problem. Podcast on it on Tuesday. And I release my episode on Tuesday since they're short. And so I would literally say at the beginning of the podcast, this was inspired by the conversation I had with Holly on time
Oh, I
management.
love
And
that.
there we go. And so Holly got like her own 15, 20-minute coaching, but also everyone else got it too. And I
Yes.
have it there and it's timeless. My goal with the podcast too is not to have it be relevant to whatever is going on in the world right now, as in, I don't know. I remember listening to someone who was talking about masks and vaccines and everything. And I said to myself, like, there was a whole intro on that. And while I get that the lady wanted to be relevant, I thought this is going to age so quickly. Like next
Hmm.
year,
Hmm.
whole 20-minute intro is going to, oh, not 20-minute, but whatever.
Yeah.
Felt like a really long time because I just wanted her to get to the content and she was just introducing and doing a little talk where I was like, my goal is to have today's podcast be relevant today and 3 months from now and 6 months from now and 3 years from now. So we're talking about habits. We're talking about time management. We're talking about self-limiting beliefs, fear, breaking bad habits, time management,
Mhm.
fitness myths, anything that will be relevant anytime because it's just things that will work for you, whether it's summertime vacation and you're struggling with your fitness or it's wintertime vacation, you're struggling with your food while traveling. It doesn't matter. And so that, and then also the best feedback I got from podcasts, and I think this is so cool when you can, for whoever you are listening, and if you want to start your podcast, if you can listen to your audience and get feedback on what is it that they're struggling with, what is it that they're dealing with, what is it, where are they right now, and then address that on your podcast. The coolest feedback I was getting and I am getting is when people say, "It feels like you're in my head. You're talking
It's
directly to me,"
amazing.
and it's like I am. You had it up to me. I am talking directly to you.
Yeah.
So
That's so powerful. And I think that's important for people to hear too before, if they're interested in adding audio. A lot of people are like overwhelmed with the whole concept of how do I develop more content? And I'm like, well, if you are online, you have to show up in some capacity and develop content anyways. But you already have probably a whole bunch of content that you've already created that you can pull from. But B, the way you do it, and I know we've had conversations about this and we've talked about, what is a good time frame for how long your episodes are. And there's no right or wrong. And that's what I also love about podcasting is there's no set rules. You have to do what makes sense with who you are, A, and B, also who your audience is. And we've talked about that. And your audience, your clientele, they're busy women too. And so if you want to be able to be timely with live input that you're getting, like really, like you're like getting feedback and you're implementing it into your next episode, which I think is amazing. You're on the go, you're just really doing it, and you're not overthinking it, which a lot of us do, but you're also like making it short sound bites so that people can listen while they're, driving to work in the morning on their commute or driving home after work or going driving dropping Susie off at ball or whatever, like I just think it's really important because you know who your people are and you're really listening to them and that's what's going to make you really sustainable and successful with your podcast is that yeah, that's how you're designing it.
I think the biggest thing, Kim, is realizing that there are no rules.
Hmm.
Because I've done so many funky things that I thought that I wanted to do, and that's it. And I'm so open to feedback from clients and the things they want to do. So, for example, whatever episode that was, I was traveling to Poland to visit my family in the summer.
Hmm.
And what I did is I literally recorded chunks by chunks by chunks from the moment I was packing in my house until I was in Poland, like opened my brother, because I surprised my family. So no one knew I was coming. And
So
so
cool.
it was probably 15 little chunks. And they were with the background noise from the airport.
Yep.
As I was packing with my dogs and from the airport, from another airport and another. And this was such popular episodes. And I
Mhm.
wasn't really sharing any, I mean, some bites here and there. Oh, I'm at the airport 3 hours early. I taught class from the airport. I taught my session from the airport. You can have your cake and eat it too. Again, I
Yeah.
can travel and I can work. No big deal. And then, I'm at the airport 3 hours earlier. I'm taking another 5,000 steps. You can get your movement, whatever, and so
Yes.
like 4 lessons or little things in each. But it wasn't a typical podcast. There was a ton of background noise. I'm on the plane, whispering in my phone, and people listen to it. Also, what I did that was funky is I recorded a couple of like meditation through movement workouts. I've never seen
Hmm.
anyone do that. And so that was me with kind of a slow-mo music, guiding someone through a 20-minute workout where, and it's a podcast, it's an audio, so there's no video to it. But if you had a tough day and if you just want to move, but you want to move with, not yoga, not
Yes.
stretching, not meditation, but you want to move your body and lift, but calmly and quietly. And so I was like, I'm going to record one for upper body, one for lower body. And I did. And that resonated so great.
Amazing. That's
Those
so
were,
cool. That's so
yeah.
cool. And I think people are just kind of over the curated stuff. We want what makes sense, what's real. How do I know Monica more? Like, because I want to get to know her because she's just like, she knows what she's talking about, but who is she actually? So it does really develop and, that personal brand, like we all talk about, like people are wanting that. And also what you said about creating that episode that was all audio, because I actually just spoke to another guest this morning, and she's highly visual because she's an artist. And so she was talking about how she's incorporated audio into her world. And I think the same thing for you. Like you have to be really creative because what you do but you've been doing audio coaching for so long, but you add a lot of it is video. So
Yeah.
that's so cool that it resonated with your clients, with your people, with your listeners. And yeah, that's amazing. Is there anything else that you're gonna like try out or
So
tap into a little bit more?
I'm definitely going to do this another round of I'm going to
Mhm.
Poland in a week and I'm going to travel again and take the people with me
So fun.
because it was almost I don't know if I listened to someone or that was my memories because you just mentioned your dad, but my grandma who kind of raised me, she would listen to classical Polish music, like Polish
Mhm.
radio. And so I grew up listening. And so I think it would be like, back in the day when it was almost like a video. I don't know, it was like stories, like
Yes.
with role play. And so as a kid, I remember being like imagining what are they talking about and where is this happening? So same way with the travel, right? There's a noise of the airport and there's noise of my dogs
Let's
and there's so
experience
people
it
can
with you.
imagine, like you can actually stimulate your brain beyond just like scroll, scroll, scroll on TikTok,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
One thing I'm definitely going to do is, and a client actually brought it up to me, for the 100th episode, what we're going to do is I'm going to invite the clients who want to, and they will interview me. So what we're going to do is
Ah, so
big
fun.
room, and so they can ask whatever they want to ask me. So yeah, I don't know where that will go, but
I love it.
sure, it's going to be interesting.
I love it. I love it. This is why I love Hello Audio. You started your business to make an impact, make a difference, and truly help your customers and clients better their lives in one way or another. Whether you're saving them time, money, and energy, or providing them with better relationships, systems, and skills, you're all about serving your audience and making an impact. But no matter how much we want to leave our impact on the world, it always feels like there is so much more holding us back and standing in our way. How can we spread our message when we need to spend hours picking the best ring lights for YouTube videos? How can we better the lives of our customers when we're spending 6 hours perfecting our slide decks in Canva? How can we impact our audiences if we're feeling nervous about even being on camera? We should be focusing on serving our people and not swept up in the world of technicalities, logistics, and over-analysis paralysis. You're plenty busy with a message to share and information your people need to hear. You can create an impact without creating video. You just need your people to hear you. No cameras needed. Forget the cute outfits and fancy slide decks. Just you, your message, and a microphone. You can create private feeds to share with your leads, clients, and customers using the audio from videos you've already created and or recording fresh new audio tracks. With Hello Audio, you can set up a private audio feed in a matter of minutes. Hello Audio allows you to form a deeper connection with your customers through the power of your voice wherever you are or they are in the world. Check out more information in the show notes, helloaudio.com, and try it today. Okay, so now we started that conversation. Tell us a little bit more about what you are doing as a life performance coach, because I think that's really amazing what you're offering your clients to really build into their purpose and who they are and build these empires themselves.
So my biggest life mission is to help people simplify everything they do. And it's like the big umbrella because as high achievers, as type A personality peeps, most of us, my clients are overwhelmed because they want to do everything and they want to do it well and they want to be top notch with everything. And so a lot of times on the outside, everything looks amazing and like they're all put together, but inside they're in chaos because they're like, how do I do it all and do it perfect and do it well and do it such that everything works great? And so my job is to help them focus and pay attention to one thing at a time that will get them the results they need. And so I begun as a personal trainer. I was never into fitness, but I discovered it by accident. Journalism actually is my background from Poland. And then I came to America, I discovered fitness by accident, became a coach, and I worked for big corporate gyms. And then I had my fitness studio for a couple of years, for 3 actually, closed it happily with Corona and moved everything online. And so I was providing clients with personal training online then. And then I added the component of life coaching. And I call it life performance coaching because it's not that we sit down and just talk about where someone is right now, or, it's very different than therapy, as in you tell me your goals and we are going to get there simply, quickly, and with peace of mind and ease. So that every couple of weeks you have specific plan and you're getting closer and closer and closer, whatever is it that you're doing, whether you're changing your jobs or you are decluttering your house or you're doing some sort of move across the world, whatever it is that you want, we break it down in chunks and I hold you accountable and kind of we coach you, or we help you move past any stuckness or anywhere where you're like, oh, I can't do this. And then I also added this element of fitness business mentoring where if someone has a fitness business and they don't know what to do with it, AKA, I don't know, maybe they are struggling with content or lead generation, or they're fully booked up, but they don't know how to organize their business so that they can scale it. It's been really, really fun doing that. Although I used to be very against being a business coach for myself. I was like, no, 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 I don't. I just want to work with people. It was kind of like a leftover corporate, I think, because it was from, the corporate folks would always push us big numbers, bigger numbers, bigger numbers. And I was want to be that person who's like,
Yes.
make more money for the gym, make more money for the gym, make more money. So that's just not nice.
Yeah.
So, but now I see, the benefit of it. It's really fun. So really my biggest mission is to help women who are type A high achievers to simplify things so they can have ease and peace of mind in their life with everything else that they want to have, because
I love
everything
it.
is possible. Right? I'm a living, breathing example of this. Like, I'm not the person who will ever look, do I want an A or B? I'm the person who's going to be like, I'll take A, B, and C, please. And thank you very much. Like,
It's totally me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a matter of like, you can have it all,
Yeah.
client.
Yeah. I can't choose black or white. I'll choose gray every day of the week just because I want to try a little bit of everything. And that's just my personality too, right? So that's who we are. I think that's amazing. It's so fun that you do that. What's your favorite part of your whole business structure? Like, what is that the piece that you're just like the one-on-one coaching, or is there a favorite piece, or do you just like the whole bouquet?
I just love what I get to do because I have this life that I always wanted to have with freedom, meaning I can travel and still work. I can be here. I can be there. I can see you at a random during the day on the random Friday. I don't have to move anything. I don't have to reschedule anything. So I have the freedom for myself and, financially and schedule and location. And it's so amazing to be able to do this myself that just it's a natural progression that I want to share with others. I want to empower other women to have this. When I've been on a variety of podcasts recently, and people usually ask, what's next for you? And I really have it that like I got it. Now I got it all. Now that we can travel finally after all these years of not being able to travel, so I can see my family. I have it all. I have my home, I have my car, I have my dogs, I have my partner, I have my work, clients, money, freedom, health. I got it all. And so now I want to share it with you. That's really what it is. I'm hungry for more impact, not from a financial perspective, but I just want to be surrounded by women who like live that kind of life because it's just so awesome. And I really don't believe that it is hard or it has to be hard. It doesn't have to be because I believe that we all have gifts and we all are gifted in one way or another. We all do. And if we only discover this and then live it, people will pay you money for it. And then you'll have a good life that you don't have to go to work you hate.
That is an amazing message. And I love that you kind of wrapped it up like that because I think it's so powerful and important for us to all just kind of step back and take a moment to believe in ourselves and our abilities and what we are able to accomplish. Because I am an overthinker too. And you kind of get stuck in that overthinking and then paralysis and then you just sit in that for way too long and if there's a message that I could tell like my younger self or like my kids, it's like to just start the messy action, to just move one step in front of the other and believe what's possible because there's so much out there. There's so
Right.
many opportunities now and I love that you work with others to find those possibilities and take actionable steps because that's the other piece, right? It's not just seeing the pretty picture. It's like, what can you actionably do today, this week, in this moment, and make it happen? So I think that's amazing that you do the work that you do. How do people find you? How do people get a hold of you?
Anywhere under my name, Monika, and more like K-A, Monika with K-A Mazur. So podcast, Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere you go, Pinterest, where else is there? Instagram, Facebook,
Oh
all
my gosh, all the things. I'm Chris here on all the things. I love it. I love it. Okay, so before we wrap up, I'm going to do a few rapid fire questions. They're just super easy. Don't overthink them. I think they'll be fun with you. Let's see. Where do I start? What's your superpower?
I can listen to you and not have a perspective on what you're sharing with me. So, for example, I can have an opinion about something, but I will never, like, I can advise you without my opinion being in the way.
Ah,
That's like remove myself, like I'm like a fly from a wall and looking and showing. So it's helpful when it comes to coaching people because, everyone has opinions, but you don't have to influence people with your opinions.
yes, I love that. Do you have a motto in life? Because I just feel like you're just so inspirational. Do you have one for yourself that just keeps you going in the direction you need to be going in? If you're having a bad day, like, do you have something that you kind of lean on?
Go and listen to CS I'm Unstoppable. Play it aloud in your car every single day you're driving, or even better about it, so the universe will play it for you through the random radio station. I'm
Oh my God,
Unstoppable
I
by
love it.
Sia, and like sing it out.
I love it. I love we're bringing music and audio back into this. So last thing, what if you came with a warning label, what would it be?
She's going to brainwash you to believing that you can do anything you want to do, and then you will.
That's amazing. That's super good. I love that. Because I think we all should have that warning label on us. Oh my
She will
gosh. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Is there anything I missed that you want to add before we go?
No, I'm so appreciative that we did it today, and I hope this is going to be beneficial. And if anything resonated, or if someone is like, listen, I want to learn more, I want to hear you expand on something, please check in with my podcast or just shoot me a DM and I'll record one just for you.
Ah, I love it. I love it. Thank you again so much, Monica. Thank you for your time and safe travels home.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening into the show. It truly means so much to me. You can check out the important links mentioned in today's episode in the show notes, and please join the conversation over on Instagram at @MeandJamesCo. I love hearing from you. There are so many great conversations coming up, so please make sure you are subscribed to Apple or Spotify or any of your favorite media players so that you don't miss out. And if you enjoyed the show today, please share and leave a review and a rating because it helps us so very much. Until next time.